Hey guys, what's up? Rudy here. Welcome. And today I'm going to teach you about upsells. Upsells are one of the coolest things in online marketing. I love upsells. They help you scale, they help add money to your bank account, and the psychology behind them, I'm a sucker for psychology, as you're starting to tell probably, is really cool, right? And I mean, it's just fascinating how you can have say a $30 product and get paid $100 for every sale, right? Who thinks that's not cool? So I'm going to teach you about upsells. As I've said a few times, I actually added in upsells after I'd done over $1 million, okay? And based on like how it changed my average order value for my fitness program, which was the first offer I scaled to $1 million, it basically the product was $19, okay? My bikini plan still sells today, sells thousands of dollars a day. But we got eventually over the couple of years after we got the upsell dialed in, and we got the average order value to $40. So, or between $36 and $45, but around $40. So I lost $20 a sale, right? When I didn't have upsells. So I literally doubled the the money. So I would have made $1 million more just on that first million if I had my upsells dialed in. But not only would I have made like my net, that would have been gross. My net profit would have been way more, because if you think, say with that first million I made, say I spent 500,000 on ads, right? And I made 500,000 net. Well, the upsells are free. They don't cost you any more on the ad level, right? For advertising. Or other expenses, your staff costs, insurances, time, like none of that. The upsells are there either way, right? So I obviously only made $500,000 of that million, but with upsells I'd have made another million, and it would have all been net. So it'd have actually been 1.5 million net, right, instead of $500,000. So it's not just that it would have doubled my sales, it would have actually tripled my net profit, okay? And that's kind of the big thing and takeaway I want to share with you around upsells. Is upsells are like where your net profit's going to lie, right? We work with clients that hand me a product, it's $50. I'm like, dude, you do realize these days you're going to pay $50 to sell this product on Facebook. And I'm like, we're going to have to build you 3-4 upsells, a good back end. Like, that's what all the big guys are doing, myself, Grant Cardone, every big internet marketer that they make all their money on upsells in the back end. So that's why this is such an important module. If you're not doing it in your business now, it's going to be a game changer, and I'm excited to share it with you. So my question to you first is, who's the best buyer, right? It's someone who was already just bought, and that's what upsells are. You buy, and then you buy again and again and again, and there's a lot of psychology again behind upsells, where there's this buying frenzy, right? The first minute or so after someone buys, they get a big release of endorphins and happy hormones and excitement, and it often pushes them to buy again, right? So a lot of the time, when you're unexperienced, you spend all your time trying to find out how to sell to new people, right? And you should always focus on that. But you often neglect how to sell to current people that have already bought, okay? And whether that's via upsells here or back end in emails, which I'm also going to teach you at a later date, is the easiest way to make money, right? So, and in theory, upsells, every company is different, every product's different, right? If you're selling a $3,000 unique service, the stats aren't quite the same, okay? So anything like higher ticket, the stats change a little, but I'm talking more in general for this. If you're selling a $20, $50, $100, $200, $500 product, okay? So for the rest of today's presentation. And if you're selling high ticket, 3-5K, definitely can still use everything I'm talking about, just the stats are going to be a little skewed, okay? So for most of you, upsell should double your front end revenue, right? So again, if you have a $50 product, per sale, you've got to aim to be selling $100, right? And that's what I meant about higher ticket. If you sell $5,000 coaching, you're not going to sell someone on another $5,000 coaching right away, okay? But you could upsell them $1,000 of something extra, right? So you're not looking to double something on a really high ticket like that. It's just unreasonable. But on the lower ticket stuff, under a few $100s, then you should be able to double front end revenue. And if you don't, if your upsells aren't doing that, you're probably losing money, okay, and a lot, because you probably have business costs, costs, advertising costs, staff costs. Maybe you're just a solo entrepreneur and have nothing, but you still have your own time, right? So all your time and energy and effort is to sell in that front product, and then all the upsells is where you get all that nice net profit that's gonna, give you the life you want and scale your business. So how do we double average order value? Okay, so average order value means if we take 100 people that buy our $50 product, and then we add up everyone that buys the $50 product, those 100 people, and then how many upsells they all collectively take, we get a total gross profit, okay? So say 20% take upsell 1, 10% take upsell 2, you add that total amount, divide it by 100, and that is your average order value, okay? And that in marketing is like one of the 4 key metrics we live and breathe by, okay? Like every day, every hour, I'm looking at my average order value, and every funnel, if I take on a new client or someone, I get requests every day to look at my friends' funnels and stuff. The first thing I ask them is, what is your average order value, your CPA, so what you're spending to acquire the customer, conversion rate percent, and stuff like that. And I'll probably shoot a video on that terminology just to clarify for you. But yeah, so your average order value is so key, okay? And we want to double it, right? So if a $50 product and you have no upsells, your average order value is $50. If, for example, your average order value, you have 2 upsells and some people take it, now your average order value is $80, right? And that's where you might be paying $60 on ad costs, right? And if you were paying $60 on ad costs with no upsells, you'd have no business because you'd lose $10 a sale. But if you had those upsells in place and now got $80 a sale, you'd have a very lucrative business. You'd make $20 a sale, 25% net margins. If you spend $2 million a year, you've now gonna made $500,000 net, okay? And that's a great business for a lot of us. So how to do that? So we want to work on anywhere from 2 to 5 upsells, right? And that kind of level is going to depend on the product suite, the avatar, the price points, the industry, everything like that. So, if you're selling to like, I don't know, for example, maybe attorneys or lawyers or, someone like that, having 5 upsells is probably, they're very wealthy, they're a wealthy avatar. So they don't want to see 5 different $20 products, right? So you might be better having 2 upsells, but they're higher ticket, like $200 upsells, okay? Whereas if you're selling to the masses, like my weight loss programs, and I have so many friends that run weight loss funnels that do millions of dollars, and our kind of rule of thumb in that industry is we have 3 to 5 upsells because everyone's used to it, right? And upselling isn't bad, like full, kind of caveat, because some of you maybe get uncomfortable thinking it's spammy. I did for a long time, and that's where I didn't really do it. But there's 2 things to consider. Consideration A is a lot of you can't scale your business without them. So you've got to ask yourself more of a deep, meaningful question is, could I help millions of people if I can add in upsells so I have a higher AOV and I can scale more and impact the world with my brand? Most of you, the answer is yes, you want to do that. And selling people more great products after they buy isn't a bad thing, okay? It's just maybe a little weird to you when you start. I know it was to me, I totally get it. But it's how the internet works, right? And then the second part of that is you're not the first guy doing it. Everyone else is doing it. Airlines have done it for 20 years. When you go and buy a ticket for a flight, you get upsold on express boarding, food, baggage, seats, obviously. So they've upsold you for years. Vistaprint, if you've ever tried to order a business card, I remember when I was about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I tried to order a business card and I got upsold on every piece of merchandise physically possible, faster shipping, clothing websites, Forever 21, H&M, Victoria's Secrets, all the big companies are now doing it. So it's not like you're a bad person, okay? And it's not like it's going to impact your brand as long as you're not crazy stupid about it and adding 18 upsells or something, right? So for lower ticket offers, like I said, you probably need 3 to 5. If it's higher ticket or premium, maybe 1 or 2, but more expensive. And you might handle it a little differently, right? If you're selling a $4,000 course, you're not going to necessarily have a pop-up box after they put their credit card in and say, hey, add this for $200. You might be selling that $4,000 course by phone sales, for example. And you might, on the call when they sign up, you're entering their credit card, you take the payment, and on the call you might say, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, this process, you've done this transaction, blah, blah, blah. But for another grand, I do have this accelerator kind of level where you're going to get everything we just discussed, and I'm going to give you an extra phone call every week, and you can fly in for 2 hours to see me at some point during the 6 months, and we work together, so something like that, right? That would be how you'd upsell something high ticket. And like I said, the AOV should be double the front end as a rule of thumb on lower ticket. That's a good goal for everyone. And if you do that, you're crushing it, right? That's not like easy to achieve. Took me like a year of split testing for my fitness business. Now I can do that sometimes in the first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, because I've done it 100 times, and that's why people pay me tens of thousands of dollars to work with me, because if they try and do it themselves, it's going to take them half a year to figure it out, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in copywriters, ad spend, testing, just to figure it out. So they're paying for speed. But yeah, so if you $50 product, you'd want to make $100. $30 product, you'd want to have an AOV of 60. And you want to mix those upsells. So you want to have a mix of like high ticket upsells where it's like, hey, it's from $50 front end product, like, hey, it's $200 for this. And you're going to have a lower take rate because that's a big jump, right? It's 4x the initial product cost, and you shouldn't really go much higher than that. If someone pays $30 or $50 for a product, they're probably not going to buy it a $600 upsell. That would be like 20 times or 15 times the product cost. But they'll tend to go anywhere between 1 and 5 times the product cost on upsells. So it's a good number to have in your head. So the first, and upsell one might be that expensive, like $200 one, right? And you'll get a smaller take rate, 5, 10, 15, 20%. And I'll give you a lot of tricks on how to boost that too, which could be worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands for you alone. And then the last couple tend to be lower ticket, right? So because people get kind of fatigued as they go through it, like anything in life. So the first upsell is going to get the better take rate, second's going to be good, third will be meh, and then fourth and fifth will drop off, right? So you want the fourth and fifth and third to be like easy $20, $50, $40 purchases, right? Because they're not going to spend $400 there. And then always add an easy order bump. That's actually on the checkout page. It's not part of upsells, and I'm going to teach you separately on checkout page stuff. But the important part of it is it does contribute heavily to AOV, which is why I listed it here. So what makes a great upsell? So, once you've got to understand the psychology of this, like everything I'm teaching you, because if you don't, you're going to waste a lot of time testing upsells that don't make sense, okay? And crafting the perfect upsell really is an art form for an online marketer. Like I said, I've built hundreds and hundreds of these and tested them, and that's why big companies, hire me, because they're basically paying for that speed, right? Because I kind of figure it out way quicker. But, with all this training you're getting, sure, you won't figure it out as quick as me, but trust me, 100 times quicker than if you tried to do it without this training. I'm sure you're agreeing as you're going through it. So what makes a great upsell? So it needs to accelerate or complement the initial purchase. This is the biggest mistake I see. If someone buys a plane ticket, you don't go and sell them on a cruise ship, right? They're going on a plane. You sell them a seat on that plane, okay? So don't go and try, if someone buys your fitness plan, don't go and sell them something in a different industry or something totally unrelated. It's got to accelerate or complement the initial purchase. If you go and buy a plane ticket, what do you get sold on? A seat for that plane, a bag for that plane, express boarding for that plane, and maybe a hotel when you land in the destination. They don't sell you a hotel for your vacation in 2 years' time in a different country, right? That would be stupid, but that is what a lot of people try and do in their upsells. They try and sell something different that isn't related. So that's the biggest takeaway here, okay? And it doesn't, you don't want to sell something where someone needs to be sold on the whole concept. This is a vital point to getting your upsell right. And the way I teach my team this, like my copywriters and people at events, is, again, using an airline example, if I bought a plane ticket, I know I need a seat, and I know I need to bring a bag, and I know I might want to get on the plane early, I might want to upgrade to business class, I might want a hotel when I land. but you don't have to sell me on any of that. I know why I need to bring a bag on my plane. I know why I might want to pay extra for extra leg room, and I know why I might need a hotel when I land, right? Very obvious concepts to my brain. So my human brain doesn't say, oh, why would I need a bag on this? Like, what is a bag? What do bags do on planes? Like, what's going to happen with this bag, right? But that's what you're trying to do in an upsell. And if the human brain has to go through those rationale questions, the upsell won't work, because the idea of an upsell is it's fast, spontaneous, and obvious, right? It's not going to be, so don't sell them on something where they've got to understand it, where it's super complicated, where they need to question if they need it or if it's the right thing for them, okay? It should just be something that already is in line with their first purchase, so they've already made the internal buying decision that they need this in their life, and this is just going to complement or accelerate it. And again, it must be congruent with the avatar pain and goals, because the important point here is you can get those first two concepts right? So you could sell a weight loss plan, and you could sell them something else in fitness, but maybe you went from weight loss and now you're trying to sell growing muscle. I see people do this all the time, like even clients, we sell like a weight loss plan, for example, and they're like, well, Rudy, I got this big muscle building plan and how to get 20-inch arms as well, so let's slot this in. And I'm like, no, because if the avatar is 40 to 60-year-old women trying to lose weight, add in a muscle builder, you're not going to get a high take rate, right? Because it doesn't accelerate the initial purchase and it doesn't fit the avatar. So don't get that confused too, and definitely don't pick your upsell based on what you have right now. That's a recipe for disaster. And I even taught one of my staff this the other day, because he was discussing a client's upsell flows, and he was like, well, the client has this workout plan and this one. I'm like, dude, stop. It doesn't matter what he has. He's hired us to make money, and he's not going to make money selling programs that he has that don't fit. We have to create the upsell that's going to make the most amount of money, and then make the client make those workout plans or whatever I want to suit that, okay? And it's very easy, like I've even done this in the past, that I'm like, oh, I have this, let's throw it in, and then it doesn't work because you've not picked it specifically for this. So every upsell, just refer back to your avatar sheet. That's why you did it. Does it really match the pain points and goals? If not, it's not going to work. Like I said, within the price realm, if they buy a $50 product, they're not going to buy a $1,000 upsell, okay? It's very unlikely. So keep within that 3, 4, 5x price rule. If they buy a $50 product, price it somewhere around 100, 150, 200, okay? Depending where it is in the upsell flow, and obviously depending on the value they get. If you're selling one ebook, on the front end, if you sell them 7 ebooks and the most amazing thing for $30, you can't go and sell them one ebook for $200, right? It has to be even better than that $30 product. Like I said, got to be easy to understand. You only have a small page here. You have a small attention span. If you want to try and write 20 pages and convince someone of this gadget they've never heard of or concept they've never heard of, then the brain has to go through a lot of thinking. It gets very confusing, and your upsell rate will drop. It has to be an irresistible offer. This is a quick, spontaneous purchase decision. It has to be irresistible. If it isn't irresistible, they're going to think on it, exit the page, and it's gone. It has to have urgency. The idea of an upsell is you buy now, you're not going to see this deal again. Like some of you went through my upsell flows, like it is a ridiculously irresistible offer. Like I'm Upsell 1, for example, I give you all of my other programs, and you can go on my ROI Machine site right now. Some of them we don't even sell publicly. They're like copywriting courses that I mainly use for my friends or like my copywriters in-house, or I sell at events for like $1,000. Some of them are courses that are $200 on the homepage, or $500. I sell all of that plus a coaching call for $200. So it is an irresistible offer, and it's not available on the website, okay? So there's urgency there because you have to buy it when you buy this. So downsells. So basically you have an upsell which is like, hey, buy my thing for $200, and on one or two of those times you're going to downsell it if you have the net margin. So if it's a $200 upsell and it doesn't cost you anything, say it's information, you could then downsell it at $99, because you still, hopefully I do at least, I want to help people, and like even if I sell it a little less, ultimately if I'm allowing to help people and it's still helping me boost my AOV so I can scale more and help more people, it's worth it. So that's how a downsell would work. It's very simple, like, hey, you just bought my program, No, hey, you tried to buy this upsell. I see you didn't take it. It's such an irresistible offer. It's going to help you achieve X, Y, Z. So I'm kind of wondering why you didn't take it. I'm assuming it's the price. I get it's more expensive. So here, let me give you another $50 off. Like, this is now ridiculously cheap. This is your final time. If you really do want it, even at this discount, click here. Okay, so that's kind of how you position a downsell. You tend to like reduce it by 30, 40, 50%. Okay, so $200 product, you might downsell it for $150, $100. And the cool thing about this is you usually get a 50%. So say you have upsell one at $200, around 10% will take upsell one. Okay, and then 20 or 30% will probably take the downsell, because they were sold on the concept, but the price was just probably a big jump. So when you show it them cheaper, you get a really high take rate, and that will add like another 10% total, because say it's half price and you get a 20% take rate, it's really like just bumping upsell one by 10%, okay, because it's half the price. But the cool thing there is it's like a double whammy. It's going to add to your AOV. It's going to sell more of it to help more people. So I really love downsells. You don't do it on every one of them. You normally just pick it on like the most expensive or the first, maybe on two. So like I said, once or twice per funnel. And again, it's great on good products with net margins, right? If you're selling a physical product for $200, it costs you $100 to make that product. And then don't downsell that one at $100, because then it costs you $100 to make it. You make zero money. So even though it's adding to your AOV, we're always talking about net margins to AOV, right? We don't want to be adding a ton of gross margins to the AOV with no net, because it's not going to help you scale. So here's an example backend flow, one of my funnels. So these top two lines are our checkout pages. We have a split test going on, which is why there's two. And then ignore this middle row, third row here, but these are our upsells, these four here, right? So 28%, 21%, 5%, 26%. And you can see the revenue you add here. So this is why I wanted to show you this, so you could see real life, right? So if you look here, these are the products on the front end, two products because we split tested, but if you imagine here, it's about $8,000, right, made here. And then if you look right here, this is the total from the upsells. So I guess the fascinating part is if you do 360, so this is about $8,000 here, right? So it's literally, this here is literally doubling my front end, right? So I make about $8,000 here, and then the fascinating part is I make another $8,000, so it's literally 100%. But what is really good here is these numbers, and I wanted to show you that. So upsell 1, we have a 28% take rate. Upsell 2, I think this is downsell actually. Downsell, we have a 20%. So you can see combined, if you add 21 to 28, I'm nearly getting like 50% of people taking this upsell by the time I downsell it. This one's really high ticket, that's why it's only 5%, and it's the weakest one in the chain. Like, we've been working on actually redoing this one because it's 5%. That's too low, like it should still be 10. And then the last downsell is 26%, okay? So any number over 20 on any of these is really good. Anything around 10, 15 is like, it's okay, and under 10 is bad, okay? So that's why we're working to fix that one. But the interesting thing just to look to, right, this 5% one that's bad, look at the revenue it made. It made as much revenue as the last upsell, and it actually identical, and it nearly made as much as that downsell. So that's why we still have it, why we fix it, 'cause it's not, even though it's a really bad take rate, it's really high ticket. That's why it's bad. So, but it actually adds a lot of money still, okay? And just to give you a concept on this funnel, for example, like we made 8K here. We probably spent 8K to sell this program, maybe 9 or 10K, honestly, within this was just 2-day window. So if I hadn't had these upsells in place, I wouldn't be running this offer, right? You might not even be taking this course right now if I didn't know what upsells were, because I wouldn't be able to afford to pay to advertise it. And, this 30-day challenge, for example, it cost me over 20, probably 30 grand in staff costs to just build everything out, build the landing page, run the ads, all the tech backend, customer support. And then my time filming this is at least worth another $50,000 if I wanted to just do coaching calls instead. So, I got like 80 grand, say, in hard costs. and advertising costs without upsells and making some profit, it wouldn't make sense for me to do it. I would just stay with my agency, working with my big ticket clients, paying me 10, 15 grand a month, right? So for some of you, like me, for example, this was a make or break. If I couldn't add upsells and I couldn't scale it and actually make some money to cover my time and staff costs, it would have been a bad business decision to run, and I wouldn't have been able to pay for the ad spend to scale it. So for a lot of you, you might be the same. That, without those upsells, you might not be able to scale. Your ad cost might be $50 to sell a $50 product, and no one can work for free. We all have extra costs, right? So, and the reason I call this a perfect backend is, 28% takes amazing, right? We normally get, like I said, anything over 20 is great, and then we get another 20 here. So this is a really strong upsell. This one's not good, but like I said, it is high ticket, so it does add a lot of value. And then this for a fourth page, so upsell, it's upsell free because of a downsell, but it's the fourth page, so to get 26%, again, that's fantastic. So that's kind of like the perfect flow there. I've kind of talked you through the psychology, so now I'm just going to share a few upsells with you.